So who wins between Ishiki and gremmy?
So who wins between Ishiki and gremmy? Now I think gremmy wins, but let's see what he says.
First, there's the obvious win con that Tizzy gave in his video where you can simply speed blitz gremmy.
This would be true for most other animes, but Bleach characters have a special rule to them. So in Bleach, there's this thing called the reatsu law. Essentially what that means is that if your reatsu is not as strong as your opponents, you will not be able to hurt them. We see this in the Ichigo versus Kenpachi fight, where Ichigo wouldn't be able to cut Kenpachi because his reatsu was not strong enough. Kenpachi explains this here really well, so if you would like to read, here's his scan. Now remember this part of the video because it's going to be very important to understand what I'm going to say next.
As gremmy has to actively think to imagine what he wants into reality, so if you can speed blitz him before he thinks of something to kill you, then you can beat him.
The issue is this is that Ishiki will need to first be able to touch gremmy. Now, again, with the reatsu law, Ishiki will not be able to touch gremmy because gremmy scales higher than Ishiki does.
Plus, gremmy is just unironically overrated as fuck. He's actually the product of what you get when you make a character too hacked out for your own good of the story.
I don't think you understand Gremmy's ability. If anyone other than gremmy had Gremmy's ability, they will probably die. Mostly because his power is imaginary. So whatever he imagines comes to existence. So if someone smarter had Gremmy's ability and they were fighting someone like Kenpachi and then they got scared and thought of dying, they would immediately die. So someone like this power fits someone like Gremmy because he's not very smart.
He had to create a clone and double his imagination power in order to imagine a meteor. This meteor is consistently calced between country and multi-continental and will argue it scales to him considering it is a physical construct. And he needed even more clones in order to create the galaxy room. And I shouldn't have to argue why gremmy simply just doesn't scale to this. There's no quantification for the galaxy room.
I think if you make a point, you need evidence to prove that point. In this case, you made a point and you're trying to say that you don't need to prove said point. Now, I don't understand why Gremmy wouldn't scale to the galaxy room, so please enlighten me on how Gremmy doesn't scale to something he created using his own power. We see him create this, it took less than a few seconds. So the time frame is there, the creation is there. Why exactly doesn't he scale to this feat? We see stars in there, we see a galaxy in there. I don't understand why Gremmy doesn't scale to this.
It's described as simply just being the creation of outer space. And there's no quantification for the things within it. This is a really shitty scan because it's not official, but you know the scan, you know what it looks like. While Kenpachi doesn't scale to the void of space that Gremmy created. While yes, Kenpachi sliced through it, the effects of the void still damaged him. And yet Gremmy gets fatally wounded when he imagines matching Kenpachi's monstrous strength. Like, for a character that can turn whatever he imagines into reality, his weaknesses are fucking stupid.
I don't know why you're talking as if Kenpachi Zaraki is a weak character. Kenpachi is one of the only few people who can challenge Hikoni in a fight. Hikoni is a soaking candidate, meaning she scales to the soaking, so she scales to the whole Bleach cosmology, meaning she's at least low multiversal. So Gremmy not being able to imagine Kenpachi's power is actually makes sense, because Kenpachi is literally that powerful. As to how strong Gremmy is, Gremmy created the outer space which had multiple stars in it, so he's at bare minimum multi-solar system to galaxy level.